Hello and welcome to today's training for Google Sites for the International Coffee Organization. My name is Mariana and I am going to be walking you through the Sites 101 class today. So let's talk about what is a Google site. So Google Sites is a great place to create simple but rich websites. And what's really great about Google Sites is that you don't have to be a highly technical person to create these sites. You do not need knowledge of HTML or assistance from IT. So it's a nice and easy way to create a website, whether that's for a project team. You can use it to help with a department site or a document library. People use sites for a lot of different things, maybe a photo gallery or even an event site. A lot of companies are using Google Sites to do things like company intranets, training and onboarding sites, as well as project management, teamwork sites and newsletters, and virtual classrooms. So you can see there are many reasons that you might decide to create a Google site. I also like to think of Google Sites as a nice tool that really pulls together all of the other Google apps that you're using. So within Google Sites, you have a nice way to display Google calendars that you've already created, Google Drive folders that you've been putting documents into. You can even embed documents and videos and image files directly into the site and much more. We'll show you that in just a second. But here's a quick look at our agenda. We're going to show you how to create a new site and then create a page, talk a little bit about the page types within the page, and also editing the page with the layout, inserting various content pieces, formatting the page, and taking a look at some of the menu options across the top like the table. We'll also talk about sharing permissions, so how you can share this site out with others. Talk about the revision history for the site itself. Also, we'll get into some of the management features within sites, so with the page settings and subscribing to page or site changes, printing site pages, previewing your website, editing the actual layout of the site, and then some general management components where you can change the fonts and colors, some of the fun stuff like the themes as well. So we'll also show you starting a site from scratch and then also using a template. So those are very helpful when it comes to creating sites. It saves a lot of work. And of course, it's okay if you don't remember everything from this training today. There is a nice help feature under the settings. As you'll see in every Google app, you'll have a gear in the top right corner. And then if you push that gear and go to the bottom, there's a help center specifically for Google Sites. And there you can type in topics or questions and get answers. All right. Are you guys ready? Here we go. Let's go ahead and jump into Google Sites. Okay. So from my inbox, I'm going to go to Google Sites. So this is my Gmail inbox. I'm going to hit the 9 bar here and I'll see the key apps and I'm going to find Sites here. I'll just click on that and that will take me to a Sites homepage. So this will list any sites that I've already created and I can from here create a site or click into one of the sites that I've already created. I can view sites that I've deleted, or I can browse sites that I have access to by category. So I'm going to go ahead and click back on the home area. And what we're going to do is start by creating our own site. Hit create, and then you'll name your site. I am going to create an event site here. So I'm naming it Wing Wind Events. And you'll notice that here I can choose from a blank template, meaning from scratch, or browse the gallery for more. And I'll show you that in just a second after we take a look at our blank template here. And then you'll also notice that as you create the name for your site, it will assign a URL for your site based on that title here. You also have a few more options on this screen. You could select a theme for your site from the very beginning here. And you also have some options for providing a category and a site description. So as you noticed in the screen before, I could browse by category, and this is how the site knows how to be indexed and organized by Google Sites. So I could say events, calendar, wing wind. Event site for wing wind travel. Okay, so I've given site category and site description. Let me go ahead and now create the site. I'll hit the red create button and just hang on one moment. Alright, so now I have my very own Google site. So I'll notice here in the URL that it has the title of my site here, Wing Wind Events. So now I have a site's interface here. It's got the title again at the top of the page of my site. I can tell I'm on the home page here. It will always default you to the home page when you're creating a site. A couple of other important features. You have icons here for editing the page, this particular page, adding a new page, so creating other pages for your site. And you have the year, so this is more actions. You have various actions. You can take page level actions, so things just for this page. Things regarding a page template, so if I wanted to create a page and then save it as a template that I might use over and over again. And then site actions, so things about managing the site itself, editing the site layout, the sharing and permissions, and of course, as we showed you before, the help feature. And then of course you always have your blue sharing area here. You can hit that, and we'll go into detail on the sharing in just a moment. But let's go ahead and take a look at creating another page. So I'm going to go ahead and click the plus page button. And so for every page I create, I must name the page. So we'll name this page Calendar. And you'll notice here that the URL is just adding a slash and then the title of the page. I'm going to select a type of template to use for this page. We have various types of page templates that we could use. So there's the typical web page. It doesn't come with anything on it. There's an announcements type page where it comes with a blog type feature where you can actually create posts for the page. A file cabinet, you could essentially allow users to upload and download files from that page. Lists, you could allow users to add items to the list, or you could yourself add items to a custom list, as well as a start page. I'll actually show you examples of these page types in a little bit, but for now we're just going to go with a typical web page, and the majority of the time you'll likely be using this page type. You also have an option here to select a location for this page. You can put it at the top level of your navigation, or you can put it under a category such as home. In this case, I'm going to just leave it at the top level, but this is good for you to know that you could organize your layout here. I'll also show you another place in just a few moments how you can organize your navigation for the site. So we're going to go ahead and create this page. Alright, so now I have a page titled Calendar. You'll notice a couple things here. Now I'm in edit mode within this page. You can tell because now I have this this menu of options here. We have at the page level, we can do things like inserting content. We can insert images, links, table of contents, a subpage listing, lines, posts, text boxes. If we're savvy and know HTML, we can add HTML boxes here, or other gadgets. Gadgets are basically little tools that you can add that have special functionalities. And there is a public gallery for gadgets that people have created various gadgets. There might be news gadgets or the weather gadgets or things like that. If you remember iGoogle, iGoogle had a gadget-like interface where you could select content pieces and add those in. If you're really savvy and you're proficient in app scripts, you can actually code your own functionality in here using this app scripts feature. You can also add content from Google Apps that you're already using and from content that you've already created. You can add a Google Calendar. You can add charts from Google Sheets that you've already created. You can add things from your Google Drive like documents, drawings, folders, forms, images, presentations, spreadsheets, videos. So it's pretty easy to add things, as you can see. You can add things from your Google Plus, like a photo, an album, or a post. And you can add Google Groups here as well. If you're using Google Groups, you can add the interface so that you can see the message history going back and forth. You could even encourage posting via this Google site to the Google group. You can add Google Maps as well and YouTube videos. So you can see it's pretty straightforward for inserting things. Formatting. So much like a document, you can format the page. You have the nice WYSIWYG editor, which stands for what you see is what you get. So that means it's just an easy to use, simple editor. You have formatting things. You can create headings and subheadings. You can do things like superscript and subscript and aligning your text left, center, and right. You can insert tables, much like inside of a Google Doc. You can select how many rows, columns. You can delete the table if you'd like. And you also have layout options. Here we have a single column going on. We could change this layout to 3 columns, for example, and notice the layout automatically changes here. You could do a 2-column with a header and footer, or with a left sidebar or right sidebar. In this case, I'm just going to go back to the single column. At any point in time as you're editing, you can change the layouts and everything, and you won't lose any content. So that's a great piece. And you'll always have your site help handy here. And here you'll see, much like in a document, you can adjust the font size and type. You can undo a change or redo a change. You can go bold, italics, change the color of your text, adding links, bullets, indenting, even editing the source HTML if you're savvy. Alright, so now here we have our calendar page. Before we add an actual Google Calendar, I will point out that by default this page is adding a couple of things. The ability to add files to this page, like uploading a PDF or something of the sort, or for people who can edit to add comments to the page. Now I typically turn these off from the page level, and I'll show you how to do that. I do have to save any changes to the site page. It's not like a Google Doc that saves every change as you keystroke. So I do have to remember to save things in the Google site. I'm going to go ahead and go to page settings here. I like to uncheck allow comments and attachments because really it's only for editors. It's not for the regular site viewers, and I think it's just confusing for people who are viewing the site if they're unable to add comments themselves. So I will go ahead and uncheck those features here. While we're in page settings, you can notice that I can edit a page description or add additional information here, or change the URL if I need to, or even change the template type. So remember earlier we chose web page. If I at any point needed to come back and change this, I could do so here under page settings. Alright, so now you'll notice the upload and the comments feature are gone. Now let's go back to edit. I click on the pencil. I'm going to go ahead and insert a calendar. So this is an event site. I want to make sure people know when the events are, so I can go ahead and click on calendar. We're going to insert a calendar here from my Google Calendar, and you can see it will access all of my calendars. I have my personal calendar and various other calendars here, and I can select one to add to this site. I have a couple of things that I can do here. I can adjust the height in pixels, the width in pixels, or just leave it empty so that it takes up 100% of the width. I can change the view, whether that's a month, week, or agenda view. I can select a time zone, and I have some display options here that I can play around with. I'm going to go ahead and click Save so we can see what that looks like. I also have a couple of other things I can do. This is a gadget. This is the Google Calendar gadget, and anytime I want to, I can come back and edit this page and adjust the gadget settings, whether that's the alignment or whether the wrap is on. So if I have other text on the page, whether that wraps or not, or I can simply remove it. And then I can always get back to the properties of the gadget where I can adjust the height, width, the view, and the display options. I'm going to go ahead and click Save so we can see what this looks like. And now I have a Google Calendar that's embedded. So if I had any events on here, those would show up. And what's important to know about this calendar is that people who are viewing the site will be able to view the calendar. They won't be able to say add events or do anything like that to the calendar. And they would also need to have access to view this calendar from Google Calendar. So I would need to make sure that within Google Calendar that I'm sharing this one correctly. Let's go ahead and take a look at this calendar in Google Calendar and make sure people can see this. That was the project management team site. I'm going to go to share this calendar. I would simply need to click on share this calendar with others and just make sure that everybody in my organization could see all event details. And that's it. Okay, so that's how you would add a calendar. Let's go ahead and create a couple more page types here. All right. Let's go ahead and show you the announcements type. So if I wanted to create a news page where I'm posting maybe blogs or news events to my team, department, or organization, I would want to use the announcements style page. And let's go ahead and we named it. We've selected the page template to use. I'm going to go ahead and leave this at the top level for now and create the page. So now I get a page here that has a button called New Post. So this is where I could create posts. And each post is essentially its own page underneath the News and Updates category. So I might be announcing a new team member. Please join me in welcoming our newest addition to the team. And I could keep typing and typing. I could even add images. You'll notice that I have the exact same capabilities here as from the last page. So I can easily insert images, links. I could even insert things from my Google Drive, things of that nature. And I can save this. I could save it as a draft if I'm not ready to post it yet, or go ahead and save it. That will make it an actual post on the site. So now we see that I have posted something, and here's the message. We'll also see that under News and Updates, we have another page called New Team Member. That's what I named this post. So if I go back to News and Updates page, it will start listing all the posts in chronological order. And I can always come back and create new posts. Let's see. Please go home today at noon. The tropical storm is on its way. Of course, you can make these stories as long as you like. You can adjust the columns, you can add images, but I just wanted to add a couple of stories here so I can show you something on the home page. So you can see I have news and updates here. The list kind of like a blog. We'll show you that. Then I could go to the home page and I could add what's called the announcements gadget. So that announcements gadget will create a little preview of all these recent posts. So let's go ahead and say recent posts here. It's going to allow me to select from any of the announcements pages that I've created, which right now has just been News and Updates page. And I want to just have a short snippet here and display up to 5 short posts. I'll save that. It's going to add this to my home page. So you see I've got some recent announcements. People could click directly on this if this was an important component for the home page. I'm also going to now change the layout to a 2-column. And you can see that I could edit this. What's really cool is I can easily move this to the 2nd column. I can move it anywhere around. It's the what you see is what you get editor. It's a very easy way to edit. We could add images here. Whether it's from a URL or just uploading it directly. And so here we have some options with the image itself. We can change the size, small, medium, large, wrap on. We can center it. I just save so I can see what's going on here. Okay. Let's take a look at a couple more things. All right, let's talk about tables. I'm going to change my layout once again just so I can show you a little more about the tables. I'm going to go with the header and footer here. I'm going to put my cursor in this footer area so I can add a table. I'm going to go 3 columns here. You see now I have a little tiny table. This is helpful if I needed to have a little more flexibility in the layout than what is offered. So I could begin to adjust these columns and continue to add content here, such as images or just information and text stories. It's just giving me a little more flexibility with the layouts to add content here. So I'm just going to go ahead and save that. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about sharing the site. So every site can be shared on 2 different levels. I'll show you that by hitting the share button. You do have what's called, let me just change this back to, so that you can see that I'm the only person that has access to this site right now. I'm in the creation mode, so I'm editing. I don't want anyone to see the site yet. But I could allow people to have access at the site level, meaning everybody can have access to the entire site. I can change the visibility options within my domain. It's right now set to specific people, so I'm the only person. Or I could allow people that have the link to see this site, or anyone to be able to search and find it. Or I can make it available publicly, where people could just simply, if they had the link, click on it without being from the domain, or making it available public on the web. Now, we typically recommend that you keep things shared just within your domain. If it's sensitive material to the company, you would need to share at the company's discretion. In some cases, you might have a vendor site where you're working with people outside of the organization, in which case you might either share it specifically with individuals outside of the company, or you might share with anyone with the link, depending. So here, let's go ahead and put it, people at Wingwind Travel with the link can view. Now at this point they have access to the entire site because I have not enabled page level permissions. Now if I want to give people specific permissions at the page level, I can do that, meaning if I want certain people to see certain pages and not other pages, I can certainly do that. But I do have to enable page level permissions first. We'll go ahead and turn that on. And now you can see a slight difference in the sharing area here. So I can see this yellow highlight is over the site, which is going to show me what I'm sharing at the site level. Right now, it's myself as the owner, and anyone at my organization with the link can view. I can get down to the page where I'm sharing the calendar. This is my calendar page, and I can change those settings. I might switch over here to custom permissions. Maybe this is a sensitive calendar and I don't want everybody seeing this specific calendar, but I might want to just share it with specific people. I will point out that I do need to go here first and add some people. We'll add Lisa. Maybe these are my other editors. Natalie, Mike, Lynn. So they're all working with me on this site as editors. I'm also going to add some people who are just viewers. So this means they can't make edits on the site, they can just come in and view content. And then I'm going to add another person who can co-own the site with me. Now, Sites is different from Docs. In a document, you can only have one owner, but in Sites, you can have multiple owners. So this is a good feature so that people can help build and manage the site. So now we see that I've shared this site out with people at various access levels. At any time I can take those away or I can change them. So I could upgrade Lisa to an owner or downgrade her to a viewer, depending. So again, this is at the site level. Now I want to go back to this calendar page and assign some specific access. So it's going to inherit whatever is at the site level, and then I have the ability to update that. So far, we can change, let's say we want to just change Natalie to a viewer, Lynn to a viewer. Actually, I just want everybody to be a viewer except for my owners. And we can make that change, and it will be effective only on this page here. So now we see that everybody is a viewer except for Felicity and myself. We are both the owners. I could even remove access to a particular page if I needed to, and that person wouldn't see that page in the website. Okay. So if I wanted to switch over here to the news and announcements, it's going to inherit the share settings from the site level here, and then I can come in and change those if I want to and use custom settings. And you can even choose when new users or groups are added to the site, whether or not they are added to this page. You can say add them or do not add them to the page. And now I have the ability here to update the page settings for the news and announcements page. So maybe I have a small team of people who are editing that page with me. That means they're going to be able to add news stories along with me. So maybe my team is just Natalie and Lynn, and Lisa and Mike are not adding stories. So in this case, Natalie and Lynn will have edit access and everybody else will have view only. And of course, everybody else at the organization can view as well. So that's basically the sharing capability. You see that you can share at the site level and at the page level, and you can update at any page level who can see what and at what access level. And you can get a sneak peek here at the management area of the site. We'll talk about that a little more in a second. I'll just point out a couple things here. So here on our gear, we haven't talked a lot about these features here, but we've got some page actions we can take. On each page, you can check out the revision history. So the changes that have happened on that page, you can check out different versions and revert back to the version of that page if you'd like. You can see who made the changes and when. It's a nice feature. You could subscribe to page changes. So if you wanted to know when the page was edited, you can always do that. Again, we've already taken a look at page settings, but this is where you would select your page settings and change the template type. You can also print the page, you can make a copy of the page, or you could preview it as somebody who's a viewer. So this is what it would look like to people viewing your site. Okay. Now if you've created a page and you want to use it over and over again on the site, you can always save it as a template so that it is then available for you to select when you're creating the page as a template. So if you wanted to save the page as a template, you could, and you could call it home template. It would only work for this site though, it wouldn't work across future sites that you create. But we'll talk about saving the entire site as a template in a bit. So I've just saved that as a template. All right. I'm going to go back here. I can see now that this page is a template. It says template. Let's go back to the home area, back to our gear, and now we'll look at some site actions. So we can subscribe to page level changes. We can also subscribe to site changes. So anytime anything changes in the site, I could find out about it. So this is available to people who can edit the site. So viewers won't have this menu. They can't get in here and edit or subscribe to changes or things like that. I could also edit my site layout. So the site layout includes things that are along the sidebar, the horizontal navigation area, the footers, and the headers. So here's you see the header just disappeared. If you wanted to change the logo here, you click on it. You see that it's using our domain default, but you could also use a custom and just select a file and upload that. I'm going to go ahead and stick with the domain default. You can change the alignment, the height, and the pixels. You have a few options here. It's all fairly easy, as you can see. Horizontal navigation, we currently don't have that enabled, but we certainly could add that here, where we would have menu items across the top. Currently we have them going down the side. If I wanted to add a horizontal navigation, I could do so right here. I could just use this simple menu to add a page to my navigation. I could do calendar, and I might also add the news and updates. And now you'll notice I have those pages across the top. Now I could turn off my sidebar if I decided I didn't need that, if I wanted to just go with the horizontal navigation. And I can always come back here and turn it on and off. Again, same thing with the custom footer. Right now, no custom footer. If I wanted to, I could click here and add some type of disclaimer. Reserved. So then that would become part of every page because it's the footer. And you also have width and um, width options here for the site width. We'll go with the theme default. I'll also mention the sidebar. It's pretty important because you can add things other than navigation in the sidebar. You can click on this area where it says sidebar plus, and you have various things you can add to a sidebar. A navigation, that's what's there right now by default. You could add text, and I'll show you what you can do with that. Just a text box, but with a text box you could actually add an image if you wanted to, or a link. You could create a little menu of just special links you want to link out to people. Let me try inserting an image. And say OK. Well, let's go small. And then we could link that either to another site page or to a web address. I might even have it open in a separate window. So let's see what we've done now. Now I can put a nice little icon there. It can be clicked on and take a user out to Google. All right. Let's take a look at some other sidebar items. You can add a listing of recent activity to your site so that everybody could see what's been going on. You can add just my recent activity, so the current signed-in user. You can do a countdown clock to a specific date. You can display who the site owners are, the page authors. So those are the options that you can add in to the sidebar. Another important thing is you can just kind of drag and drop these things to switch the order. I'm just going to leave it like this and say close. Okay. So that is the edit layout. Again, you get there from the gear under your site actions. Let's take a look at managing this site now. So here under the management area, I can see my site name. If I needed to change that, I could do so here. If I needed to add additional categories so that this site could be searchable in this site search area, I can do so here. Some other important things you can do, you can copy the website. So if you needed to make a copy of it and use it, repurpose it for something else, you could easily do that. You could publish it as a template, which means that everybody in the domain who can create sites would then be able to use this as a template. And that can be very handy, and I'll show you that in a second. Or you could simply delete the site. If it's something you no longer need, or we're testing out something, you can easily delete the site. You also have some search configurations. So you notice at the top right side of the site there was a little search bar. You can enable that or disable that. You can allow the search results to just search the site or all sites within that you have access to, or pull in public results from Google as well. You can add Google Analytics here. And you can also make this adjust automatically for mobile phones. What that really does is simply stack all of the items on top of each other, so it's not just a shrunken down version of the site, but it's more of a mobile friendly viewing. All right. So you also from here can get to themes, colors, and fonts. Let us leave this page. You do have to save things as you are changing in the management area. So if you've changed anything, you'll want to make sure you hit that save button. So here we are using the base theme. I could change that for this site. All those options that you saw in the beginning, you can always go back and change that here in the themes, colors, and fonts area. So you have a lot of different options. Let's just pick one. And with that theme come custom colors for the navigation, the text that's selected, and things of that nature. The borders around your gadgets and stuff. And you can see how the theme looks for the different content areas, which colors. You can even customize that theme if you wanted to. In the site header area, if you wanted to change something, you can do that here. So you can start with a theme and then customize it, or leave it as is. So we'll just take a look here. You can customize the entire page, so the background color. You can add a background image, a wrapper image on the text. For the page, you can change the font style, the color, the size, the link color. All those things are adjustable here in the site header. So it breaks it down by component. Background and titles, and the content area, gadgets, the sidebar, the horizontal navigation. Those are all customizable right here. So you can save your changes. And we'll go back. And now we see our site has been updated with the new theme and colors. All right. So let's take a look. I wanted to show you guys something. Take a look here at a different site. This is a site template. So this was a site that was created by someone, and they wanted it to be a template available to everyone. So this, you can tell that because it says this site is in the template gallery. Any changes you make will be visible to all users. So I could use this as a template for my own site, just like creating a new site. I'm going to name it. We're automatically using that template, and it's going to come pre-populated with everything from the template. So it's going to save me a lot of time. Say if I have a standard project management site, and then I can share that out with other project managers so they can all take advantage of that. And then I just come into the site and make updates as I need. All right, so here's the site, complete with that background, the different colors, all the images here, the sidebar items, the navigation is all set. And here's one of the nice advantages. Now you can see that there was an announcements recent post gadget here, a list gadget. We've even embedded a spreadsheet. I'll show you all the mechanics here. An image, I could use that, or I could replace it with one of my own. I can come in here and rename this. I can come in and change the image and change the text here. It's easy. It's all the WYSIWYG advantage. All right, And anytime I make a change, I want to save that. I can continue to edit, but I do want to show you the recent announcements gadget. This was the one that we took a look at earlier. You can adjust that if you need to at any time. This is a recent list items from here. Recent list items. Here's a Google spreadsheet. So again, you go back here, Google Drive, you can insert a spreadsheet. You can change that spreadsheet if you need to. This one happens to have a nice little chart in it. People can see the embedded spreadsheet. They do need to have access to all of this, so if you've created a spreadsheet, you need to allow this spreadsheet to be visible to other users within Google Spreadsheets. Let's go ahead and see the other pages that we have. With the WYSIWYG, you can just come in here if it's a project management site and customize this to meet the needs of your project. The project definition page, you can come in here and change your team, add photos and contact information. This is a nice way to really provide a portal for the team. You might be tracking some to-do lists here. This is the custom list page type. So you can create a custom list by columns, description and due date, and you can have items added or updated. Add a task, update project calendar, choose a date by the 28th, and if it's been completed, you'll see that it would have a check mark by it. So you can create these nice custom lists here. We also have a nice example of an embedded spreadsheet for a budget report. As you are tracking the projects in Google Drive, this is why this is a great tool. You can update a document in Google Drive, and all of those changes are reflected here in this embedded spreadsheet. So as these numbers change in the spreadsheet itself, those will be reflected on the site. So it's a nice, easy way to maintain all of the data in one place and then have it displayed in your site. You don't have to update it in two places. Here's the announcements page. You see this one has several entries as well as images with those entries. This page is just displaying how you can also embed presentations for viewers. This is nice for things like training sites or sales libraries where you have information where you want people to access easily. You can embed maps. Again, when you do this, you simply edit the page, go to Insert, you can go to Drive, select a presentation, an image. Here, let's go ahead and embed a folder. Maybe we have a folder that people can use. This is a nice way to have like a document library on display. So now we see we can display easily a list of files. Okay. Another example of the file cabinet page type where you can have users adding files, downloading files. These are actual PDFs, but you can also add links to other sources or even adding documents from Drive to a file cabinet. So you have a lot of different options and ways to point users to different content. and these are just images. It's just a nice slick way. We're using the page layout with a 3-column. Just you can give your document a description, a little image there. And we're using a calendar gadget in this page. I can always change this out if I'm using this template to a different calendar. Again, I just need to make sure that anything I'm showing or sharing on this site that I've also shared, whether it's a document or a calendar, that I've also shared that out with others, so that when they get to this page, they see it as well. All right, I just wanted to show you what a finished product could look like. And that concludes our Google Sites tutorial for today. Thank you so much for attending. And again, if you do have any questions here, you can always go to the Sites help. Thank you so much and have a great day.